It was a stormy night. The rain hit the tin roof of a small wooden house standing alone at the edge of the forest. Inside, a young girl named Mira was sitting near the weak flame of a kerosene lamp, stitching an old worn blanket. The sound of thunder echoed through the valley as the wind howled outside. She had no electricity, no luxury, just a small home built from her father's old savings and memories. Then, suddenly, there was a knock at the door. A heavy onia, urgent, almost desperate. Mira froze. Nobody ever came this far from the village at night. With trembling hands, she held her lantern and walked toward the door. When she opened it, her eyes widened as there stood a man soaked to the bone, his suit clinging to his body, and beside him, a young boy shivering in the cold. "Please," the man said, voice breaking slightly. "Our car broke down on the road. There's no signal. We just need a place to stay for the night." Mira hesitated. She barely had enough food for herself. But then, seeing the little boy's pale face, she swallowed her fear and nodded. "Come in. You'll catch a fever if you stay out there." The man thanked her, his tone polite yet humble. He helped his son inside and took off his wet jacket, revealing an expensive watch and fine shirt, but Mira didn't notice. She was too busy trying to light a small fire. Her hands shook as she placed pieces of dry wood on the stove, her only source of warmth. "Thank you, miss," the boy whispered, his teeth chattering. Mira smiled softly. "It's all right. What's your name?" "I'm Arjun, and this is my dad." The man smiled faintly. "I'm Raghav." Mira nodded politely. "I'm Mira. I'll make some tea. It's not much, but it's warm." She poured the last bit of tea leaves into a pot, unaware that she was serving her only meal for the night. The smell of boiling tea filled the small room. Raghav noticed how the walls were cracked, the ceiling leaked slightly, and yet the young girl moved around with grace and quiet strength. As they sipped tea together, Raghav asked, "Do you live here alone?" Mira looked down. "Yes, my parents passed away 2 years ago. I sell handmade candles and stitched clothes in the market. It's not much, but a broken bar it keeps me going." The man fell silent. His gaze softened. There was something about here, something real, something strong. Later that night, as the rain continued to pour, Mira laid out her thin mattress on the floor for them. "You can sleep here. I'll manage on the chair," she said. Raghav immediately shook his head. "No, please. We can't take your bed." But she smiled gently. "You have a child with you. He needs to rest. Don't worry about me." Raghav looked at this girl, who had nothing, still offered everything she had without hesitation. He had met countless people in suits and luxury, but none with a heart like hers. When morning came, the storm had stopped. The sunlight peeked through the cracked window, painting the room in gold. Raghav and Arjun were already up, and Raghav was on the phone, his tone suddenly confident, commanding. Mira didn't hear the words clearly, but it was different from the humble man she met last night. After breakfast, Raghav walked up to her. "Thank you for everything, Mira. You helped us when we had no one." She smiled. "Anyone would have done the same." He paused. "No," he said quietly, "most wouldn't." Before leaving, he handed her his business card. "If you ever need anything, call this number, please." She looked at it but didn't think much. "Okay, safe journey, Raghav ji." Days turned into weeks. Mira went back to her Tania selling candles, stitching clothes, and surviving. But business was bad, the market was slow, and she often skipped meals just to save a few rupees. One evening, a group of men arrived at her door. She grew frightened until one of them smiled and said, "Are you Mira? Mr. Raghav sent us." Before she could ask anything, a brand new car pulled up behind them. Out stepped Raghav, clean, well-dressed, confident. "Not the same man from that train night." "Raghav ji?" she gasped. He smiled. "Actually, it's Raghav Malhotra, CEO of Malhotra Enterprises." Mira's eyes widened. "You're a CEO?" He nodded. "Yes. That night, I was returning from a charity event when my car broke down. You didn't know who I was, and yet you helped me like family. That a broken bar changed something in me." He stepped closer, his tone softer. "I've met thousands of people who only smiled when they wanted something, but you gave from your heart." Tears welled up in Mira's eyes. "I didn't do anything special." Raghav smiled warmly. "You did everything special, and now it's my turn." That week, Mira's small home was rebuilt with strong walls, bright paint, new furniture. Raghav also helped her open her own candle shop in the city, Mira's Light, which became famous for its handmade warmth and beauty. Arjun often visited her shop, calling her Aunt Mira. She taught him how to make candles, while Raghav silently watched from a distance, his heart full of gratitude. Months later, Mira stood in her new shop, surrounded by light and laughter. She looked up and whispered, "Thank you, May and Papa. Your blessings brought angels to my door." And as customers filled the shop, Raghav entered once more, not as a stranger seeking shelter, but as a friend who found light in the darkest storm.